All right, so now that we know the basics of colors and how the color wheel works and how shades and all that stuff works, let's talk about using them. The best way to talk about that is to create color schemes. So there are a few kinds of color schemes, very basic ones that you should be aware of. So pretty much any brand or any like really good branding or logo design or graphics that you find will have some sort of color scheme that they follow. Sometimes they just pick colors that they like and that works, but a lot of times they'll follow some sort of color scheme. So we're going to talk about 4 really basic color schemes to kind of get you started on this. The first one is complementary, which is when 2 colors on a color wheel are directly across from each other, like this. This orange and this sort of muted blue are directly across from one another on the color wheel. It's a bigger color wheel than our basic one because it has different hues of color or tones of color, but these 2 are directly across from one another. The second one is analogous, which is when 3 colors are next to each other on the color wheel. So it doesn't have to be 3. Oftentimes it is 3, but when colors are next to each other on the color wheel, that is analogous. And here's a good example. See all these different blues and blue greens here? They're all next to each other on the color wheel spectrum. The third is triadic. That is when all of the colors included are equally spaced on the color wheel from one another. And here's a really good example of these 3 accent colors here, equally spaced on a larger color wheel. And then the last one, monochromatic, and that is when you use one single color, but you use all of its different hues, tones, shades, tints, all of that stuff to create your color scheme. For example, here, yellow is obviously their primary color that they're using here. And you can see in here, we've got a lighter tint. Black, I mean, if you add enough black to yellow, it's just going to create black. And if you add enough white to yellow, it's just going to create white. So this is a very cool, super organized, clean, monochromatic design.